Thank you for joining NMH at 1, where we take a look at the news-making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. In the news today, Menzies heads back to Supreme Court. 45 children die of malnutrition in Omaheke. 59 million Namibian dollars needed to implement a development strategy. I am Ashwin Berry. After this short break, midday news update. A 38-year-old man set his car on fire in Olympia in Windhoek yesterday afternoon. The man claims the church that he attends wants his possessions. Remember to engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news comes up soon.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 150.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Rehearsals are currently underway as the Miss Namibia Top 10 are busy and getting ready for the crowning of Miss Namibia 2023. It's going to be at the MTC Dome in Swakopmund on the 8th of July.
G'day, my name is Beulah Boyce Beakus and we are at the MTC Dome right here in Swakopmund. Now the anticipation is growing here. The stage has just been set up. The Miss Namibia and Miss Teen Namibia 2023 Top 10 finalists are rehearsing as we speak, and they will be rehearsing right up until Friday and Saturday, that is for the Miss Namibia contestants. Now we also have our social media competition still running, so you stand a chance to walk away with double tickets to either of the crowning ceremonies. All you need to do is send an SMS for the Miss Teen competition. You send an SMS to 62220, that is with the short code of your favorite top 10 finalists. And for Miss Namibia, you send a short code. You send the short code to 33033. It's as easy as that, and it could be you. You can get your tickets online, that is at Web Tickets Namibia, but they are also available right here at the Dome, so you don't have to worry if you feel like you want to make a last minute decision and come and join us. We're really calling on the public. It's going to be different. The stage is going to be out of this world, something that Namibia has never seen before. So please do come and join us on the crowning ceremony for Miss Teen Namibia, that is the 7th of July, and Miss Namibia, 8th of July, 2023.
Patron of the Olufuko Annual Cultural Festival and founding father Sam Nyoma says that there is a need for people to free themselves from mental slavery. Nyoma, who was speaking at the 9th edition of the festival at Otapi yesterday, indicated that historical research should be done to record the historical and contemporary knowledge into new conceptions of social reality. Speaking at the same event, Minister of Urban and Rural Development Erastus Lutoni says that the Olufuko Festival promotes intercultural understanding and showcases the community's rich and cultural expressions and serves as a major tourist attraction both at local and international levels.
Our people to free themselves from mental slavery. Franz Fanon put it more clearly when he said that when we consider the efforts made by carry out the cultural estrangement of the colonial epoch, the claims of the Africans are not a luxury, but a necessity, because if rehabilitation is not accomplished, there would be serious mental damage, resulting in individuals without an and ruthless. We should therefore resolve, among other things, to preserve our past history, right, present, and now, erasing from retrace the lives and the destruction of about African people. Similarly, we should do the historical research, interpret and record the historical and the contemporary knowledge into new conceptions of social reality. Against this background, allow me to thank the UNAM Interdisciplinary Research Center, which conducted a research study on Orufuko. The team was headed by Professor Hina Mwashekere and Dr. Michael Usiku Akupa, as well as Mr. Erastus Kautondokwa from the Ministry of Education, Arts, and Culture.
This particular festival promotes intercultural understanding and showcase communities' rich and cultural expressions and serves as major tourist attraction both at local and international levels. The Orufuko Annual Cultural Festival, I believe, is uniquely designed for celebrations of the culture in our society in order to keep cultural connections alive. And I want to thank, and I also want you to join me to give big hands
to employment and contributing to the economical growth of the region. I therefore encourage all SMEs to continue with the exhibitions even after the festival in order to build a sustainable and vibrant economy. To the visitors from outside towns, I appreciate your presence here today to celebrate our culture with us. I trust that you will also find time to visit places around.
Commonly chairs NAMCO meetings while on city sick leave. An update on this story follows in the newspaper review segment.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Namibian Sun's front page reports that National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia Board Chairperson Jennifer Commerly attended 2 board meetings while on sick leave from their full-time job at the city of Windhoek. One such meeting took place on the very day her sick leave started, records show. An application for leave seen by Namibian Sun indicates that Commerly applied for sick leave from 31 March to 21 April for a total of 14 days. During her sick leave, Commerly attended 2 NAMCO board meetings, one on 31 March and another on 4 April, Namibian Sun established. It was on the 4 April meeting held at Finance Minister Ipumbushimi's office which birthed the suspension of NAMCO Managing Director Ims Mulunga, who, according to media reports, has been on a collision course with Commerly. On page 3, to implement the country's first national strategy for the development of statistics, the Namibia Statistics Agency will need 58.9 million Namibian dollars over 4 years. The agency announced this yesterday during the launch of the NSDS, adding that the project will run between 2023 to 2027 in 10 sectors, including the Labour and Education ministries. The Labour Ministry will require 11.3 million of the budget, while Statistics for the Industrialization Ministry will need 2.15 million. The NSA further noted that annually, the average cost needed for the implementation of project initiatives is 5.8 million Namibian dollars. During his address, NSA Chairperson Omaheke said this launch came at an opportune time as the national census is fast approaching. Republican informs that the mere act of consuming dog meat, irrespective of how it landed on your plate, could soon land you in jail if a group of local animal rights advocates get their way. As things stand, it is not against the law to kill and eat a dog in Namibia, provided that you own it, but it is expected that the animal is killed in a humane way. But activists in a budding online petition are calling for the total ban on dog meat, calling the animal a sentient being. Simply put, this means they have feelings and emotions. Dog meat is considered a delicacy among some tribes in Namibia, and calls by animal rights organizations to end the practice have previously been ignored. On page 3, reports on a curious case whereby a widow, as the first wife of a deceased man, has turned to the Windhoek High Court urgently applying for relief against the second traditionally married wife of her deceased husband. The appellant is a physically challenged person that has been driven from a home of more than 40 years by the second widow, so to speak, who has assumed occupation of the house that stands on the communal land in the Odongwe settlement in Grootfontein. The two widows are fighting over the right to live on the land, which according to tradition would need to belong to the first wife, or for that matter, widow. On its front page, the Algemene Zeitung reports that the Procurement Department of the Namibian Ministry of Finance has established and deployed a team which has been tasked to investigate allegations surrounding the queried appointment of members to the new Procurement Committee of the Namibian University of Science and Technology. On page 3, the Algemene Zeitung reports on police officer Shivake Njode, who is alleged to have smuggled drugs into police cells. On Monday, he was denied bail at Walvis Bay Magistrates Court. Njode appeared before Magistrate Rosalia Andima, who adjourned the case to August 15 for further investigations. Prosecutor Anakleta Kanjimi said the accused was caught trying to smuggle drugs worth 8,000 Namibian dollars. We believe this is a cartel, and we are concerned that it would not be in the public interest to release the accused on bail, Kanjimi said. We continue with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk.
Jullie is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
The Namibian newspaper reports that Omaheke Regional Governor Pio Nganate says he is concerned after 45 children under 5 years died in the last 6 months as a result of malnutrition crisis in the region. In his State of the Region address at Khobabis yesterday, Nganate said malnutrition cases are based on the registration for inpatient admission and most children come from informal settlements, noting that this tumultuous situation required a multi-sectoral and sustainable approach. The governor has established the Regional Malnutrition Task Force, Nganate said. He added that the task force is establishing a guardian at the office premises to assist the affected communities while inculcating a sense of responsibility and promoting community involvement and ownership. On page 3, lawyer Sisa Namanje challenged the Oshikoto Regional Council's decision to boot 2 of its members, Philemona Njambula and Sakyas Nangula, from the National Council, arguing that the council did not have the power and jurisdiction to do so. Namanje has written to National Council Secretary Tosi Namish, saying the NC was under no obligation to act on the recall of his clients. Both Nangula and Njambula were removed following allegations that they conducted themselves improperly. However, Namanje has argued that Article 72 of the Namibian Constitution does not vest the Regional Council with the power or right to recall a member of the NC before the expiry of his or her term. On New Era's front page, Popular Democratic Movement lawmaker Maximilian Kashimune says Higher Education Minister Itakanji Murangi must investigate governance issues at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. Kashimune made this call during a National Assembly session yesterday. According to the youthful politician, NUST is falling apart. It is clear that NUST is on the verge of collapse, and it has become imperative that the minister intervenes in the crisis at NUST, therefore highlights the fundamental challenge faced by higher education, especially when it comes to the erosion of corporate governance, and the comments by the chairperson of the council, Florette Nakusera, must not be taken lightly, Kashimune said. On page 3, after they were granted a 1-month extension by the High Court to continue supplying ground handling services at Hosea Kutako International Airport on Tuesday, Menzies Aviation scored a victory yesterday when they were granted permission by the High Court to once again petition the Supreme Court. Yesterday, Judge Eileen Rako granted leave to Menzies to approach the Supreme Court and appeal her dismissal of an interlocutory application. After hearing and considering the arguments, this court is of the opinion that the Supreme Court may come to a different conclusion as to what this court came to, and for that reason, the application for leave to appeal must be successful, said Rako. In that interlocutory application, Menzies sought to interdict the Namibia Airports Company from implementing any contract NAC entered into with the joint venture between Paragon and JV Ethiopia Airlines, pending the finalization of the ongoing review application it has filed. And MarketWatch reports that it is the duty of banks to adapt and meet the evolving needs of their stakeholders. Bank Windhoek's managing director Baroness Hans made this statement when she recently handed over the chairpersonship of the Bankers Association of Namibia in Windhoek. As a vital sector entrusted with the efficient functioning of economic activity, we face both tremendous opportunities and formidable challenges stemming from societal pressures, the transition to digital banking, and the risks associated with technological advancements, among other factors, she said. Meta officially launches Threads, which is the new social network competing with Twitter. More on this story in Economic News.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Elon Musk spent the weekend further alienating Twitter users with more drastic changes to the social media giant, and he is facing a new challenge as tech nemesis Mark Zuckerberg prepares to launch a rival app this week. Zuckerberg's Meta Group, which owns Facebook, has listed a new app in stores as Threads, an Instagram app available for pre-order in the United States, with a message saying it is expected today. The two men have clashed for years, but a recent comment by a Meta executive suggesting that Twitter was not run sanely irked Musk, eventually leading to the two men offering each other out for a cage fight. Since buying Twitter last year for $44 billion, Musk has fired thousands of employees and charged users $8 a month to have a blue checkmark and a verified account. In the latest update, Threads is already available across the world. Economic indicators coming up next. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.79 next to the US dollar, with 23.99 Namibian dollars getting you 1 British pound. First Rand Namibia and Letsego Holdings Namibia stock managed a 0.01% and 1.30% uptick respectively. Local index closed on 0.04% in an uptick, whilst the overall index made a downturn of 0.72%. Gold, platinum and Brent crude oil all made some upsurges, whilst copper made a downturn of 1.17%. A suspected gas leak leaves 16 dead. Stay with NMH at 1 for an update.
Namibians are still safe.
Everywhere else, the Supreme Court said we are not going to rely on foreign judgments. By all means, we try to not make journalists public figures, but at the end of the day, they are.
Very good evening. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host.
With their Protestant offsprings.
But the implementation, like she's saying, is another thing.
A suspected nitrate oxide gas leak in South Africa has led to the deaths of 16 people, local officials say. The victims, including women and children, died from gas inhalation at an informal settlement in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. Wednesday's leak has been linked to illegal gold mining in the area. Nitrate oxide gas is often used by illegal gold miners, known locally as zamazamas, to extract gold from soil stolen from abandoned mine shafts. One of the gas cylinders was found leaking in Boksburg's densely populated Angelo shanty town. The victims were found within 100 meters radius of the scene. No one was taken to hospital, emergency service officials have told the BBC, but they fear more bodies could be found overnight as search and rescue teams continue their work. One woman, a Mozambican living in South Africa, told the BBC that her husband had died in a gas leak. She said she had received a call from a neighbor who told her that her husband had collapsed. Speaking through tears, she added that she was concerned about how she would get her husband's body home to Mozambique as she was unemployed and he worked part-time jobs as a handyman. This tragedy comes just 6 months after a gas tanker explosion on Christmas Eve, which claimed 41 lives in the same town. We'll be swinging over to international news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, who last month brokered a deal to end an armed mutiny in Russia, said on Thursday that Russian mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin was no longer in Belarus. Lukashenko said on June 27 that Prigozhin, leader of the Wagner Group, whose fighters briefly captured a southern Russian city and marched towards Moscow, had arrived in Belarus as part of the deal that diffused the crisis 3 days earlier. But Lukashenko told reporters on Thursday that Prigozhin was now in St. Petersburg, Russia's second city, or may have moved on to Moscow. He is not on the territory of Belarus. Lukashenko also said the question of Wagner units relocated to Belarus had not been resolved and would depend on decisions by Russia and Wagner. His comments highlighted the huge uncertainties surrounding the terms and implementation of the deal that ended the mutiny, which Russian President Vladimir Putin has said could have plunged the country into civil war. We'll be talking about the Brave Warriors game against South Africa in the COSAFA Cup yesterday as we head into local sport.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
The Brave Warriors of Namibia drew 1-1 with host South Africa in their Group A encounter yesterday in the COSAFA Cup tournament. The teams will be back in Group A action on Saturday at 6 p.m. when South Africa faces Botswana, followed by Namibia battling Eswatini. However, today you can expect to catch Seychelles versus Comoros at 3 p.m. and Zambia versus Malawi at 6 p.m. Namibia Rugby Union Vice President Johan Deegart says the national rugby senior team needs 38 million Namibian dollars to prepare and compete in the International Rugby Board World Cup. And Netball Namibia President Rebecca Gwagwase says Namibia, to keep its ranking with the International Netball Federation, needs to be active to avoid being dropped off the log table. We swing over to more rugby as we head into international sport.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Australia co-captain James Slipper has been given the all-clear to start Saturday's Rugby Championship opener against South Africa in Pretoria as returning coach Eddie Jones named 4 new caps in his first Wallaby selection since 2005. Angel Di Maria's career in Europe came full circle on Wednesday when the winger rejoined Portuguese side Benfica, the club he played for between 2007 and 2010 when he moved from Argentina. South Africa's 2023 Women's World Cup squad travelled on Wednesday to New Zealand after a dispute with the National Association highlighting gender pay gaps in the country was resolved. The Motsepe Foundation, founded by Confederation of African Football president and billionaire Patrice Motsepe and his wife Precious Motsepe, pledged funds to resolve the dispute. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1 and we'll get into today's highlights after the break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the
15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
To another exciting episode of Ironggo Talk. We bring jou
Is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Let's get into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. A suspected nitrate oxide gas leak in South Africa has led to the deaths of 16 people, local officials say. The victims, including women and children, died from gas inhalation at an informal settlement in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, who last month brokered a deal to end an armed mutiny in Russia, said on Thursday that Russian mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin was no longer in Belarus. And Namibia Rugby Union Vice President Johan Diergaard says the national rugby senior team needs $38 million Namibian to prepare and compete in the International Rugby Board World Cup. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio.